Okay, y'all, I just want to watch some spooky stories. Let's just get into it.
When she opens her eyes, she sees the man that she saw at the crossroads in her peripheral vision. And then her eyes opens up and she says, Eshu Legba.
What's that?
That's Steve.
Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
Who's Steve?
My friend.
Yeah, she got her man back, but he's a little strange.
So I just saw the video of the woman whose son took home a piece of the pyramid, and when she told him to take it back, he did not listen to her.
After he brought that back, our family has been cursed with nothing but bad luck.
I was so scared. I started praying inside. I started claiming the blood of Jesus.
Let's just chill, get your snacks, get everything that you want to just relax and just kind of drift away from everything. Settle your body when all of these dang on upgrades, solar storms happening, DNA activations, bodily changes, volcanoes erupting. Let's just sit down and just rest and relax for a second and just be here. Happy December, everybody. You know, as you know, this is the 10th month, not the 12th month. Let's just get into it.
Wait, what do you want to show me?
My picture I drew.
Your picture you drew.
That's Daddy, that's Mummy, and that's me.
And what's that?
That's Steve.
Steve?
Yeah, Steve.
Who's Steve?
My friend.
Your imaginary friend?
My best friend. He's always been here.
He's always been here. Mama said you got two imaginary friends.
That's Steve.
Yeah.
That's Margaret.
And who's that?
That's you.
That's me.
Did you see the little girl? The little girl. The little girl. Oh my God. The little girl drew a picture of her family. And she got to the end. She said, "This is Steve."
Your imaginary friend?
My best friend.
It's in his black man's decision. He was Steve. Oh, it's Steve. And the picture talking about some.
Do not get a tarot reading from just anybody. I don't know if you guys have seen her video. So the girl in the video went to Concord, California in this like tarot store and she had heard really good things about it. Now she decided to get a tarot reading done by one of the ladies. Now she does say while she's getting the tarot reading done, she's having weird internal feelings about it. But the tarot reader told her to go to this crossroads or railroads, whatever, and leave an offering for a deity. Now, again, the girl in the video is feeling iffy about it. From what I can tell, the girl in the video is Haitian. However, the person who gave her the tarot reading was not Haitian. The tarot reader knew nothing about Santeria, voodoo, or anything. So the girl in the video, we're going to call her Haitian princess. Even though she was having her own internal doubts, she still decided to make something and leave it at the railroads. And on her way to the crossroads, she was setting her intention. She was being very clear and intentional, meditating all the way there. That way she can have a clear mind. So she makes it to the crossroads in Vallejo and she leaves something like she was instructed. As she's putting down this offering, she is meditating over it, praying to this one deity that, she's giving it to. And when she stands up, there was a man behind her. There's a bunch of homeless people in Vallejo, so she wasn't thinking much about it. But when she stood up, the random man said, "Thank you." Immediately, she gets this intense feeling, this strong, energetic pull almost, maybe fight or flight. So he steps to the side and she's seeing him in her peripheral. And she describes that man to be a very tall man. The man was wearing red and black. He had this hat on and she was just feeling overwhelmed with emotion. So she goes, "Oh no, I'm so sorry if I was in your way." At that point, she didn't see a clear image of this man's face, so she goes to walk away when suddenly he grabs her arm and he says, "You really shouldn't listen to people who are telling you to do something that your body doesn't want to do." And this time she turns to look at him and y'all, when she turns around, it was a little boy. Not a big tall man, it was a little boy. And when she sees the little boy, his voice just changes completely. So he was holding her hand, right? So he looks down at her nails and says, "You really shouldn't do your nails like that when you're doing these types of things. It's disrespectful. Now, she was freaked out and she just says to the little boy, "You have a nice day." And the little boy says to her, "Have a better one." And the little boy is just creepily walking away and humming. Now, if you don't know this deity that she may have encountered, this deity is a trickster. So when she gets home, throughout the days, she would continue having these weird occurrences. Like she would be sitting there and something would just run past in her peripheral. She would be brushing her teeth and feel a presence in the shower. She would be putting her clothes on in the morning and all her hats would just suddenly fall. So she goes back to the lady that gave her this advice. And she tells the lady that things have actually not been better. I've actually been feeling watched. And the tarot reader recommends that she gets Moldavite. Now, we all know about Moldavite. Let's keep going. For some reason, homegirl did get the Moldavite, and her life would then turn upside down. She would just lose random things in her house. She would lose her keys, misplace her shoes. And it would be like losing little things that would make her feel like she's going crazy. And trust me, I've experienced this before. Every time she would lose something, it would cause her to stay in that house longer, which she knew at that point something was wrong. So she finds this Haitian practitioner in Richmond, which I feel like she should have led with that. So she goes to her, they go to her backyard. There's a few people there, like a few people playing the drums and another person helping her. I think it was like 6 of them in total. She starts getting cleansed. The lady's lighting sage in her face. She's blowing powder in her face. The practitioner was telling her, "Open your eyes and show me what you see." When she opens her eyes, she sees the man that she saw at the crossroads in her peripheral vision. And then her eyes opens up and she says, "Eshu Legba." And the music, the drumming just starts to intensify. And Haitian princess is seeing this man over the practitioner, and this practitioner is seeing this man over Haitian princess. The practitioner was speaking to him in a Creole that she has never heard before. She says in that moment, she recognizes that it was actually all beautiful. It was similar to catching the Holy Spirit, to have everybody be on the same accord and feeling the same thing. A lot of you would ask, weren't you scared? The answer is no. So the man standing over the practitioner's head pulls something out from his pockets and crumbled it and drops it in front of them. And y'all, it was the Moldavite. When it all ended, the practitioner told her that she needed to go home immediately and get rid of that Moldavite in real time. Pretty much get rid of anything that she had ever gotten from that shop. And she told her that the Moldavite is not something that you need to be touching. So she listened, went home and threw out everything. And that night, for the first time in years, she had a dream. So she had a dream that she had woken up and coming out of her mouth were like bits and pieces of the Moldavite. And that was the end of that story. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments.
I did a video on Moldavite, if y'all remember. Go ahead and click on that one. It's the Cursed Crystals story time.
You guys remember that trend that went around in like 2021 where everyone was talking about Moldavite?
If you were thinking about getting Moldavite, don't do it.
Story time on how I bought a crystal from Etsy from this white girl. And it actually had a demon inside the crystal.
So when I tell y'all, do not bring Moldavite to a hospital, do not do it.
My whole body was swelling up.
Y'all, when I tell y'all them stories was... Yeah. Anyway, let's get to the next one.
So I just saw the video of the woman whose son took home a piece of the pyramid. And when she told him to take it back, he did not listen to her.
If you're new here, a year and a half ago, my oldest son went to Egypt and brought home what he said was a piece of the pyramid. Said he broke it off and brought it home. And immediately I was like, you have to send that thing back. That it needs to go back from where it came. Like it does not belong with us. And after he brought that back, our family has been cursed with nothing but bad luck, and terrible things have happened. And eventually he actually passed away in March. And I'm not making light of him passing. I'm processing that off of TikTok. It's what it is. So, but we've had deaths, we've had cancer, we've had hospitals have happened. And every time something bad happened, I was like, we have to get that piece of the pyramid gone. And he always laughed and told me I was crazy. And when he passed, I had to get this pyramid and get it out of our family and get it back to where it came from. There it is.
Like, you need to intercede in the spirit for what your son did, because this definitely can affect your bloodline. So as I'm reading some more of the comments, I see that she said that it got sent back to her. It got sent back to her, y'all. Because this is not the only story. There are so many more stories of people saying like, yeah, somebody took something and gave it to them, and all of a sudden like all type of chaos broke out. People went manic, crazy, things like that. See, here's what I think. The pyramids were a part of like a world that we're sitting on right now. And these structures, these Tartarian structures, the pyramids, things like that, these stones, they're not movable for a reason. Otherwise, you already know the higher ups would have been destroyed them a long time ago. They hate leaving any type of history of power belonging to somebody else. So if it's still here, it's for a reason. I believe these structures power the earth. And when you do anything to sever piece of those items that power this earth, a curse is placed upon you. And not only just on you, your bloodline, your generations to come. Just because you don't believe in gods, or you only believe in one God, or you don't believe in the spirit world, don't mean that none of them don't believe in you. Because if that was the case, when people do things like that and ignorantly move like that, smuggling in sand, smuggling in rocks, pieces of pyramid, things like that, why you think chaos happens so fast?
Bro, the funniest thing be the people in the comments who do the memes, the face, like somebody said she best book a flight back to Egypt and put it back herself, cause yeah. What do you mean he got sent back?
I'm going to tell you a story that I know a lot of people are not going to believe, because this story is like freaking crazy. But if you're in the spiritual community, I know you guys are going to believe it. But back in 2017, I was married, and my husband passed away tragically. So about 4 years ago, I decided to start getting back into the dating community and see if I could reconnect with somebody after doing all the healing. I went online and I signed up for one of those dating sites, and I was, having fun, meeting a lot of nice people, but I wasn't making any connection with anybody, because at that time, I was starting to get back into my spiritual point of view in life, and I was trying to figure out things with myself, and I wanted a partner that reflected where I was going with my life. So I found this person. We matched online with this man, and this man was very, very, very good looking, and everything on paper looked great. And I was like, wow, this guy seems like a catch. So we went on our first date, and when I go on dates with people back then, when I used to go on dates, one of the things, as being an intuitive person, I like to hug people because I can feel things immediately. So I said, hey, I'm a hugger. He said, well, I'm a little reserved. So he reached out and gave me his hand. The minute I shook his hand felt a little clammy, and immediately I told myself something is different about this person. It just didn't feel right. And it's something in my body told me run away. But he looked at me. He had big blue eyes. Also, this man was very, very tall, about 6'4", 6'5" feet, very pale. And he looked at me directly, and he was like, oh, everything, come in. We're going to have a great time. So we go into the restaurant, and I sat across him, and the whole night he was talking, in my mind was just going, what is it? What is it? What is it? Why, what's going on? I couldn't pinpoint what was wrong with this person, but the whole time I knew something was off. So by the end of the night, I said, hey, buddy, whatever his name was. I can't remember. I know his name, but I'm not going to say it. I was like, hey, I had a really good time, but I don't think things are going to work out. He looked me straight in the eye and said something. And I found myself telling him, well, we're going to see each other next week. Well, so next week, the whole week, I'm just feeling weird, guys. Very, very weird. I'm like, something's just off. But I would try to text him and say, or go on the app, and say, I just couldn't get to do it. I don't know what was happening. So we go on our second date. We go into town and do some walking around. The whole time, I feel like it's weird. It's a weird feeling, like it's not me, but it's me. Like I'm just walking around, and I felt very disorientated the whole time I was with this person. Same thing. I finally, at the end of the day, I said, hey, I don't feel very good. I want to go home, but I don't think things are going to work out. I said this to this person. And again, this person convinced me to go on a third date. And the worst part is he convinces me to go and visit him at his place. So a couple of days later, I showed up, and this whole time I'm driving, I'm feeling like run, run. But at the same time, there was this pull, a huge pull to go see this person. Mind me, third date, I am going to this person's house, and my heart is beating very, very, very hard. And something, I was like, why am I here? Like, am I being hypnotized? Like, what is going on? So I get to his house, and for some reason, he had dirty dishes, and I started doing his dishes. And he comes from behind me, and, he kind of like hugs me. And then I looked at him and I said, something's not right. Can you please tell me what is going on with you? And then he's like, well, okay, let's go talk in the living room. So we go into his living room and we sit down. And guys, he did this. He went like this. Like, he shook. And what I saw, I cannot say on TikTok. But when he shook, his whole face changed. Wow, I can't talk. His whole face changed. I was so scared, guys. I was so scared. I started praying inside. I started claiming the blood of Jesus, and I started asking for help and strength to leave that place. I did everything in my possibility to get off that couch and say, hey, I need to leave. And he said, you are one of a kind. He says, nobody has ever been able to see who I am. And he let me go. So I want you guys to realize that the world is not what you think. The world is not what you think. And I experienced it 101. There are people here who are not people. This is my light. I want to hear if anyone has a story like this.
Somebody submitted another spooky story about Flatbridge. They're basically saying that some people still go to Flatbridge, but you have to know what you're going for. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Tamika. Now, Tamika says that she's always believed in river spirits, as they have spoken to her from young. Well, it all started with Tamika's boyfriend, Andre. Andre began pulling away out of nowhere. No calls, no messages, nothing. So at this point, Tamika's desperate. So she decided to go to the river one evening to clear her head. And it was near Flat Bridge. It was quiet, and the only sounds that you're hearing is nature and water. So now Tamika is sitting on this rock trying to clear her head when suddenly she starts hearing singing, soft like a lullaby. And the voice called her name. She heard, Tamika, you want him back? Tamika froze. And out of the water, a woman rises, skin pale as fuck. She actually describes this creature's eyes to be glowing and blue, and her hair seemed to be floating around her face, even though the river itself was still. Tamika said that she should have ran, but she couldn't. This creature smiled at her, reached out her hand, and said to her in a whisper, love don't leave, if you call it back right. She then tells Tamika, take a strand of your own hair, mix it with Andre's. Oh, I'm not going to tell y'all the full spell, but she told me everything she did step by step. But once she completes everything, then he'll return. Well, Tamika did exactly that. When she did the final step, the river started moving around crazy, and the wind was blowing so hard, which gave her confirmation that what she just did was about to work. Well, the next day, honey, Andre showed up at her gate, smiling as if nothing happened. And for a week, everything was perfect. Until she noticed something about Andre. Yeah, she got her man back, but he's a little strange. She noticed that he never slept. He just sat up at night, staring at his reflection. Whenever she would try to leave the room, he would follow her as well. One night, she woke up to find him standing over her bed, staring at her, humming the same lullaby that the creature at the river was humming. And she was trying to get his attention, basically trying to get him to snap out of this. His eyes just looked glassy, as if he just wasn't there. His behavior was definitely strange, but that was her man, and she was gonna stick beside him. Because she says everything was so perfect. Andre was calling, showing up with flowers. He was so attentive. He became clingy, almost obsessed. And Tamika says that's how she likes him. So everything would come to a head when one night they get into this heated argument. He suddenly said out of nowhere, you shouldn't have gone to the river, Tamika. She doesn't like when people break promises. And Tamika froze. She's like, wait, who told you that? And he said, the lady did, in a dream that I had. showed me everything that you did by the river. That night, Tamika says she had a dream about the lady. The lady was humming that same melody, but this time she sounded angry. And Andre was so upset after that fight that they had. Andre took all his stuff that night and left. And somehow never saw Andre again. He's fine. He just doesn't want to see her. And out of desperation, again, Tamika went back to the river just one last time, just to see. And she says nothing happened. No one came out. The water went still out of nowhere. She looks down and she's seeing reflections. She decided to just leave flowers to thank whatever creature that was for giving her man back. Even though he woke up, after she said thank you for the offering, she left. The dreams just stopped. But now Tamika is one of the first person to tell you, if someone in the river offers to fix your love life, leave it broken.
Oh Lord, now we're getting into the mermaids, y'all. Okay, we're gonna stop here. I hope that this was like a little reset, little story time, little just time to just relax and chill. If y'all want the more mermaid story times, let me know in the comments. And you know, I hope that you have a good rest of your day. I appreciate you holding space for me and spending time with me and me just trying to reset. I know all of us are trying to like calibrate a little bit better, but yeah, I love y'all so much. Thank you for supporting me, and I will see you on the next video.